These are your two tools that you need. They are all you need. There's a good brush and a good beauty blender sponge. Hey everyone, today I'm going to share with you my 3 key things to use to apply and achieve a flawless foundation finish and some of the common application techniques and methods to apply. There are 3 ways of applying foundation: 1 with your fingers, 2 with a foundation brush, and 3 with a beauty blend sponge. I personally like to use 2 of those tools to perfect my foundation, and it really comes down to what you are trying to achieve. If you are trying to achieve a very natural, sheer, youthful looking glow, then I definitely recommend using a combination of a brush and a sponge. Before we get started, if you are new to my channel, please do subscribe. Welcome and hello, my name is Sarah. I'm a makeup artist of 15 plus years, previously working for some of the biggest retail brands. I have a real passion for makeup and how it looks. Nothing makes me happier than sharing all my tips and tricks and hacks with you. If you are into practical, easy makeup tips, then please do subscribe and carry on watching this video. Personal favourite foundation brush to use is the IT Cosmetics Heavenly Complexion foundation brush. One, because it has a dual purpose, so it has one end to apply foundation and the other smaller concealer type brush to apply concealer. What I love about this brush is it has the density at the base, and then the synthetic fibres at the end are really great at diffusing your product and making your foundation look like skin. Any other time you will see me use my fingers is to apply a tinted moisturiser or a BB or CC cream, which has more of the skincare properties. It's just applied better using your fingers. It won't give you very much coverage, but it will just do the job of evening out your skin tone and adding those extra skincare properties that it provides. You really don't have the ability to build coverage with your fingertips. You can use it to up the product or press in areas across the face where you feel like you need to set particular areas. So under the eyes, I like to use my fingers to press in the concealer to stop any creasing around the nose. But you really can't get the same effect that you would using a foundation brush or beauty blender sponge. Really important if you are using a beauty blender to make sure that it is damp. The way I like to prep my beauty blender is to run it under cool water, and you want to see your sponge expand, so it will double in size. Then what I like to do is really squeeze the excess water out of the beauty blender sponge until there is nothing left. So going back in, and then I like to use some tissue afterwards just to take any of the excess water, and then it is perfectly ready for application and blending. Let's get started. My face is fully prepped. My serum and moisturiser to my skin. My skin type, as I have matured, is a lot drier than it used to be. I used to have quite oily combination skin, but as you mature, skin tends to dry out. So my method of applying foundation has had to adapt. And I think that is something that a lot of us forget, is that what you did maybe 5-10 years ago is not the same in terms of application now. Whereas before, I'd probably apply just with a foundation brush or just with a sponge, depending on what kind of look I wanted. But now, because my skin is a lot drier, I'm having to adapt the technique to the look. So I have nothing on my face apart from some serum and moisturiser. My skin is very dry, so I need to make sure that it is properly prepped before applying any foundation. And this really follows through to anyone that suffers from very dry skin. If you're applying foundation just with a primer, I think you will find that the foundation won't look how you would like it to look. It will go patchy, it may sit in dry areas, and you won't get that kind of even finish that you're after. So I'm going to start by applying a primer. If you want to have very large pores in the skin, then I would definitely recommend wearing a primer. I am using the ISL Touche Clay Blur Primer. What I like to do is to dispense a couple of pumps on the back of my hand. 1, to ensure that I don't waste lots of product, and 2, so it's nicely warmed up before applying it to the skin. And then I just like to lightly tap my foundation brush just to cover all the bristles before applying it onto the face. I will always work from the inner part of the face outwards, and I start by just doing very gentle pressing motions, and then I go back onto my hand and I am just building that. Now you may think that looks very minimal and you can't even see that foundation, but that is the idea. So you'll always find that you'll get most of your redness, the centre of your face is what gets exposed first to sun, so it's slightly different colour, and it's generally where you need a lot more coverage. I do have some melasma on the side of my face, so I tend to build up the coverage in other areas as well, but I always, rule of thumb, you want to start from the centre of the face and work outwards. So it's very, very light stippling motion. So it's press, tap, press and tap. And then whatever's left on my brush, I then like to go into my forehead. And the reason why is I don't like my forehead too cakey. And I feel like I just want to even the skin tone out on my forehead rather than see lots of foundation. So I tend to go in with whatever's left on my brush and do that last. To build coverage then, once you've laid down your foundations, excuse the pun, you then want to go back in and recoat your brush, and you want to start pushing another layer of foundation to build that coverage. I would say always use a brush for anything that is liquid based, is in a contour stick, is cream based product. And if you're looking to apply something with your fingers, I would always apply a tinted moisturiser or a moisturiser type product using your fingers first. So once I've laid down the foundations and I've got the coverage, I love to go back in with a damp beauty blender. Now this is really to diffuse any kind of line marks or anywhere I can see any of the foundation sitting. Just tap that all over the skin firstly. And as you can see, I've got some foundation left on my hand, which I will not waste. But if you are looking for more of a fuller coverage, what I will then do is I will go back in with my sponge onto my hand and I will soak up the rest of that product, and I will then tap that back in to the face to build some coverage. Once I've done that, I could go back in and think, okay, I do need a little bit extra coverage in some other areas. So like around my nose sometimes where it's quite dry, you can always go back in and add a little bit more foundation to those areas. So where I need a little bit fuller coverage. And again, you just want to press that into the skin. You want to bounce that sponge. It's almost like a bouncy ball. You just want to bounce it on the skin and push all that product. Now, I do spend quite a lot of time on my base because I just think it is one of the most important things. And if your base and your skin prep and your base is done properly and well, then you can wear very minimal makeup and save yourself time elsewhere because your skin looks good. It's just like if you've got perfectly flawless skin, or when you were younger, you had skin, you could just go out with no makeup, you put a bit of lip gloss on, you put some mascara on, it's fine. Same principle goes with foundation and skin prep. And I always go back to this, whoever I tell is perfect your base, perfect your skin routine, get that right, and then worry about all the other steps, because honestly you'll need very minimal product elsewhere if you perfect your base well. I would also say as you mature to go in with a more kind of medium coverage. I wouldn't go in for anything too heavy. You're also better to match your skin tone rather than going in to anything darker. Darker really ages the skin, shows up lines. I'm going to show you a great hack that you may not have seen. I got this hack from Wayne Goss. He's a fabulous makeup artist, And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some tissue and I'm going to wrap that around my beauty blender, and then I'm going to just gently tap that over my face to remove any excess oil from the foundation. So I hope these tips were helpful, and if you do like what you see, please do comment below just to let me know you like it, or if you have any questions. I really love sharing all my makeup tips and tricks with you, and if you want to continue to see my videos, please make sure you are subscribing to my channel. Stay tuned for the next one. Thanks again.